board meeting to order. Item 2 is Pledge of Allegiance. Director Lane, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Director Lane?
I'm not sure he's on the line. I don't see him.
Okay. Director Dice, would you mind leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
No, it'd be my honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask everybody to mute their microphones or telephones, place their hand over their heart, and repeat with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Director Dias. Item 3, roll call, Madam Secretary.
Thank you, Madam President. Division 7, Gary Van Dam.
Here.
Division 6, Audrey Miller.
Here.
Division 5, Robert Paris.
Here.
Division 4, Justin Lane. Division 3, Frank Donato.
Here.
Division 2, Keith Dice.
Here.
Division 1, Shelley Sourceable.
Here.
General Manager Chisam.
Here.
Tilden Kim.
Here.
And Holly Hughes present.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Item number 4, adoption of agenda.
I'll make a motion we adopt the agenda. This is Keith.
This is Rob. I'll second the motion.
Roll call vote, please.
Division 7, Gary Van Dam.
Yes.
Audrey Miller.
Yeah.
Robert Paris.
Yes.
Justin Lane. Frank Donato.
Yes.
Keith Dias.
Yes.
Shelley Sourceable.
Yes.
I have a question. I don't see is the agenda on the screen?
It's the presentation, but we can switch to the agenda if you'd like.
Item 5, public comment periods and period open to the public. If there's anybody that's on this call that would like to comment on any business that's not on our agenda, now would be the time to do so. Secondly, we have a voluntary public roll call. If there's any member of the public on this teleconference who wishes to identify themselves as present for this meeting, please do so for the record in the minutes.
The Roseman News, Lake Los Angeles News, and Acton Aguadulce News are here present, and the YouTube of this meeting will be up for the public to view tomorrow, and the articles will be published on Friday.
Here we go. He's saying.
Could you speak up a little bit louder, John Joyce? We're having trouble hearing you.
Sure. How's that? Is it better?
That's better.
Okay. Do I need to repeat everything again?
No, thank you very much for your participation, John. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Item number 6, new business. It looks like we do not have any tonight. Item 7, consent calendar action items. Do I have a motion to accept the consent calendar?
I'll make a motion we accept the consent calendar.
This is Rob. I'll second that motion.
Okay, great. Any comments or questions? Roll call vote, please.
Gary Van Dam.
Yes.
Audrey Miller.
Yes.
Robert Paris.
Yes.
Justin Lane. Frank Donato.
Yes.
Keith Dias.
Yes.
Shelley Sourceable.
Yes, thank you very much. Item number 8, items for consideration and possible action with the Finance Committee. Director Donato.
Yes, the Finance Committee met yesterday. Went over many items. We have an item here on the a couple items on the agenda here that we have to have presentations on, understand some of these expenses. And the first one is item 8A1. Manager Bozigian is going to give an overview of what we're doing with the Cal City feeder repairs.
Actually, item A1 has to do with the director's communication devices. You may have been looking at A2 there.
Hang on a second. Okay. My apologies. Jesus. Go ahead. Let me get up to date here.
Yeah. Yes. This item is in response to a finance committee recommendation at the previous finance committee meeting to look at having a new line item for director communication devices expenses, and asked staff to look into how best to accomplish that task. What we do know is that, just as a way of some background and refreshing the board's memory, Section 17 of the agency's policies for service, and the policies for service is the guideline policy document for directors. And that document or policy prohibits directors from conducting official business on their private email accounts. And as we staff reviewed the public policy for public service, there was no formal policy or provision for electronic devices for directors. As we went through that, whoops, let's see, how did I do that? Okay. And then staff talked with our agency's general counsel, and they recommended that we do an amendment to the policy for service that would amend and include a provision for personal electronic communication devices for conducting agency business. And staff would work with the agency general counsel and the Personnel, Legal, and Joint Powers Authority Committee to revise and create an amendment to the policy for service and so we can include that language for this particular item. We also would anticipate a separate line item in the 2020-2021 fiscal year budget that would be able to account for all these director communication devices that may be necessary. A suggested amount of $14,000 is was the staff's recommendation, and we have a recommendation of where that money may come from. And so any new purchases associated with this new line item would be in accordance with the revised policy for service in the agency purchasing policy. So our recommendation at this time is to refer the matter back to the Personnel and Legal and Joint Powers Authority Committee to amend the policy for service and make a recommendation on a budget transfer once they get an opportunity to review that and determine what the amount and where that money would be coming from within the existing budget. And this does recommend it actually doesn't support goal 4 of the agency's 5-year strategic plan for financial integrity. So that concludes the staff report for this particular item, and we're requesting that this item get referred to the Personnel and Legal Committee.
Wasn't the money also basically, it's been allocated in the budget, but it's separated because it's a specialized item, I guess?
Yeah, it was combined with another item so we can separate them for relatively easily. Correct. You're correct on that matter.
The question is, so you want a motion right now?
Yeah, we just need a consensus to refer this matter back to the Personnel and Legal Committee so we can get the actual language for the amendment. We'll bring the amendment back to the board of directors with a recommendation on the funding amount and where the money will come from. And then we can have formal board action. But we wanted to respond to the finance committee request.
Well, yesterday in our meeting, you told us we have the money. It was already put in the budget, but it just has to be separated under the legalities of our attorneys specified.
That is true. That is true.
Okay, you said find the money, and that kind of scared me. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. No, I don't mean to scare you.
Okay. I move on to item 8A1.
I'll second the motion. This is Keith.
Okay, any comments? My comment, this is Director Sorsel, and my only comment on this item is that this is money, as Director Donato stated, that it has been allocated to another line item for the directors' meetings. And with COVID and the things that we've had to deal with, we need to have this amount changed from our conferences, basically. So I just wanted to give a little bit more background on that. Any other questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Gary Van Dam,
Yes.
Audrey Miller,
Yes.
Robert Paris,
Yes.
Justin Lane, Frank Donato,
Yes.
Keith Dias,
Yes.
Kelly Sorsable.
Yes.
Okay, so that brings us to item 8A2. This is consideration of possible action, approve a purchase order in $1,198,000.256 for replacements of Quartz Hill Water Plant GAC filter replacements with collagen. So that's the one that Mark's going to give us a presentation on?
That's the one John is going to give us a presentation on, correct?
Okay.
Good evening, everybody. Let's see. We'll start off. We have two presentations tonight. The first one, like Frank said, is for the GAC replacement on 12 filters at Quartz Hill. If the board remembers, last year we replaced the GAC media on filters 1 through 12. This year we're going to do 13 through 24. That'll complete the Quartz Hill plant. As part of our asset replacement and improvement budget, we have this item as item ER 21-04. We budgeted $1,350,000, and the cost came in at $1,199,256. So we're $150,000 under budget. This media, as you remember last year, this media was installed in 2008. Typical GAC filter media lasts about 10 to 12 years, and then you either have to regenerate it or replace it. Avek has elected to replace it. The regeneration process involves mixing it. They regenerate it at the plant, and they mix in 25% new carbon, but there's no 100% guarantee you're getting back the original stuff that you sent them. And so it's a little bit risky for a potable water treatment plant to do that. The GAC replacement is covered in the water rates. And so we would recommend approval of this. We did send out 2 RFPs. There's only 2 companies in the United States that make this domestic carbon product. That's Norit and Calgon. Norit chose not to submit a bid this year. So Calgon is our only choice to use this product. And I told the committee yesterday that there are a lot of places that will provide this product, but they have to buy it from Calgon or Norit, so the price would be much higher. So I hate to make you feel like there's really no choice, but in this situation, if we're going to use this product, and that's truly what we recommend, then we have to go with Calgon Carbon. Be happy to answer any questions.
Well, I'd just like to comment. Thank you very much. John, we could have received more bids, but like you said, it would have been an exercise in futility because they would just go to Caledon and mark up the price. So it would be a waste of everybody's time. So good work.
Thank you.
Okay, so you done, John?
Yes, with that one.
Okay, so let's make, it's a board order right now. So board order 8A2, I move we approve the funds to purchase the product for the new GAC filters.
This is Director Miller, and second.
Any comments or questions? Roll call vote, please.
Gary Van Dam,
Yes.
Audrey Miller,
Yes.
Robert Paris,
Yes.
Justin Lane, Frank Donato,
Yes.
Keith Dias,
Yes.
Kelly Sourceville.
Yes. Motion 8A2 passes.
Okay, and my next presentation is, again, asset replacement and improvement capital budget, item number ER 21-15. And this is to replace the rapid mix unit at the Eastside Treatment Plant. Eastside plant was built in 1978. We have the original rapid mix unit. And what this is a mechanical mixing device that when you inject the aluminum sulfate into the influent water, it flash mixes it, which is necessary for proper treatment. And this unit has been repaired, welded, anything you can imagine to hold it together, but it's reached the end of its useful life. So we did include it for replacement this year. We budgeted $50,000 for replacement. The price came in for replacement at $38,975.31. So we're $11,000 under budget, which is good. Now, typically we like to get multiple bids on things. Unfortunately, this mixer is made by Chemoneer. It's a proprietary type mixer. We could get a different brand, but it would have to be modified to fit where this one goes, so the expense would certainly go up. Cannot purchase direct from the manufacturer. You have to go to their West Coast supplier, which is Brax Process and Equipment. And so we did go to them. They gave us a price, and that is the one we're going to have to go with. But under Section 2.1 of the agency purchasing policy, we can do sole source purchasing if there's a good reason. And we feel in this case, it's a very good reason. It's a good piece of equipment, and it'll be a direct bolt-in for what's existing. So, with that said, we've asked the board to approve $38,975.31 for this item.
Okay, I'll move on 8A3 for the amount of $38,975.31.
I'll second the motion. This is Keith.
Any questions or discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Gary Van Dam,
Yes.
Audrey Miller,
Yes.
Robert Paris,
Yes.
Justin Lane, Frank Donato,
Yes.
Keith Dias,
Yes.
Kelly Sourceville.
Yes. Item board order 8A3 passes. Thank you.
Okay, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Item 8B, planning committee, Director Paris.
Hello, everyone. Sorry, this is Director Lane. Sorry, we had a sick horse, so I'm here now.
Thank you, Justin.
Hi, this is Rob. I'll turn this over to Dwayne at this time. Thank you.
Yes, both of these matters, the staff presentation will be provided by Assistant General Manager Matt Knudsen.
All right, thank you. First item we'll be talking about this evening is item 8B1, which is a 2020 Urban Water Management Plan update. There's a staff report beginning on page 38 of your board packet. And we also have a brief presentation. This item was reviewed by the Planning Committee on July 29th. So our agenda is going to cover the background of why we're doing the plan, what the consultant's role will be, our summary of the proposals received, and what the staff and committee's recommendation will be. So a little bit of background. Every 5 years, agencies such as ours has to go through and update our urban water management plan. This is a requirement of DWR for water systems that supply over 3,000 acre feet of water per year. And it falls under the California Urban Water Management Planning Act. The plan will address reliability of the agency's water source over a 20-year planning horizon. It's going to describe the demand management measures and water shortage contingency plan, and the report progress towards meeting California's conservation targets, which is under AB 1668 and SB 606. And those were passed in 2017, 2018. So the consultant's role is going to be, the primary role will be updating water shortage contingency plans for the agencies to deal with varying levels of drought conditions within our service area. A new component is to prepare a seismic risk assessment for all of our facilities within our service area. It will also address the Delta Stewardship Council's policy, which demonstrates reduced reliance on the Delta. And as part of this process, we'll have to, as an agency, go through a public review period, put this plan out to all of our purveyors, as well as the public, have that completed by April of 2021, and then also hold a public hearing, and the agency board will have to adopt the plan by the end of June 2021. So back in mid-June, staff put together a RFP. We distributed that to 4 qualified firms. Based on the RFP, we had 3 qualified firms submit proposals. As you can see them listed there: Carollo, Kennedy Jenks, and Water Systems Consulting. All were within that range of what we had budgeted in the recently adopted budget of $85,000. So you can see the fees proposed anywhere between $72,000 and just under $80,000. Not counting KJ included a contingency in their proposal, but as you see, we're not recommending KJ at this time. So staff and the committee reviewed the proposals, and we're recommending to go with Water Systems Consulting for $72,200 or $220. Some of the qualifications of WSC is they've completed over 50 of these similar plans in California since 2007. They are also a key part of EWR's guidebook committee, which develops the guidelines and outline of what we have to follow in preparing the plan. Another important component that we look at when reviewing these proposals is whether they've had experience working with similar state water contractors within the state. So as you can see, in 2015, under the last update, they worked for San Bernardino Valley Municipal Water District preparing this plan. And this year, the plan to work with Desert Water Agency as well as Coachella Valley Water District. So just in summary, staff and the committee are recommending to approve and accept the proposal received from WSC in the not to exceed amount of $72,220 for the preparation of the 2020 Urban Water Management Plan. And then we're also seeking authorization for the general manager to execute the professional services agreement with WSC. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
And this is Rob. I would move approval of Board Order 8B1.
I'll second. This is Keith.
Any questions or comments? Roll call vote, please.
Gary Van Dam,
Yes.
Audrey Miller,
Yes.
Robert Paris,
Yes.
Justin Lane,
Yes.
Frank Donato,
Yes.
Keith Dias,
Yes.
Kelly Sourceful.
Yes. Okay, Rob, item 8B2.
Okay, good evening. So we're on item 8B2. This is recommend or consideration possible action to approve the Antelope Valley State Water Contractors Association fiscal year 2020-2021 budget. Just a little background. As you know, Avek's part of the association, and on July 9th, the association considered their 2020-2021 budget. As part of the joint powers agreement, it states that each of the three agencies has to go back to their governing board and seek approval from the boards for the commitments of funds. So that's what we're doing this evening. The proposed budget is broken down into four categories. There's general operating funds, and then there's three separate restricted funds. One to cover costs associated with the USGS program, which is valley-wide. Also, the association plays an important role with the Antelope Valley IRWIMP group and stakeholder group to manage their funds on their behalf. And also new last year was development of a project for studying the potential for a joint recharge project within Big Rock Creek. So on the general fund, that typically includes things such as insurance, the memberships for the association, miscellaneous expenses, the costs associated with Avek and Palmdale Water District staff to participate and prepare for the association meetings, and any contracted services such as the Antelope Valley Fair, Conservation Garden, and the Smart Water Expo that we've been participating in for the last several years, as well as the audit for the association. So based on the bylaws of the association, the first $30,000 for the budget is split evenly between the three member agencies. So Avek's share for this budget would be $10,000. The operating budget is just under 30 at $27,000 for the association. So that our $10,000 share will easily cover that. And then there's a secondary contribution for the association of $38,000. Big portion of this is the commitment to continue participation in the AV Fair, Conservation Garden, as well as the Water Expo. We recognize that obviously is on hold right now for COVID, but there's hopes that will come back hopefully in the fall or early next year. So based on the bylaws and the proposed budget, Avek's share of that would be based on our table A. That's $32,566. And then you add that with $10,000 that I mentioned earlier. So the proposed budget for Avek's contribution is $42,566. And this, of course, is budgeted within Avek's 2020-21 fiscal year budget. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. Included in your board packet on page 64 is the resolution that we're going to be considered this evening.
This is Rob. I'll move approval of board order 8B2.
This is Justin. I'll second.
Any comments or questions? Roll call vote, please.
Carrie Van Dam,
Yes.
Audrey Miller,
Yes.
Robert Harris,
Yes.
Dustin Lane,
Yes.
Frank Donato,
Yes.
Keith Dias,
Yes.
Kelly Sourceable.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Secretary. Item number 9, old business. Seeing that there's none, we'll move on to the Chief Engineer's report.
Yes, I have Board President, Sourceful, members of the board. I have one item for your consideration tonight, and it's a staff recommendation to authorize a filing of notice of completion for the Acton Water Treatment Plant support project and issue a final payment 30 days thereafter, provided no claims are brought against the contractor. To refresh your memory, the board approved a contract with Valley Iron Fabricators in April of 2020. They've commenced their work on July 13th, 2020, and proceeded to complete that work on July 17th, 2020. We had a certified structural steel inspector from Aero Engineering on the site for 3 days to observe the installation of the anchors and the application of the grout. Where the inspector provided a detailed report and verified the installation was compliant with all codes. Staff has inspected the final project and recommends accepting the work as complete and issuing the notice of completion. The agency currently holds $10,406.50, which is 50% of the contract for this work. In concurrence with our legal counsel, we're recommending the board authorize the issuance of the final payment following the 30-day wait period and filing the notice of completion. That concludes my staff report. Be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
I have a motion to accept item 10A1, board order 10A1.
This is Justin. I make a motion that we accept board order 10A1.
I'll second it. Frank.
Any questions or discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Carrie Van Dam,
Yes.
Audrey Miller,
Yes.
Robert Harris,
Yes.
Dustin Lane,
Yes.
Frank Donato,
Yes.
Keith Dias,
Yes.
Kelly Sourceable.
Yes. Board order 10A1 passes. Item 11, General Manager's report.
Yes, Board President, Sourceful, members of the board, I have a general manager's report for you for August 11th, 2020. State weather is in our areas dry in that area with the temperatures in the 80s and 90s, and that's what we would expect at this time of year. What I was interested and wanted to show you is you can see that we have without some weather coming in next year, you can see that we have some extensive drought in the very north part of the state, outlined in red. And you can see this area, whoops, I'm sorry. This area here in brown is, severe to moderate drought. And you can see this is the dry period. So while Southern California got above average water into their systems, you can see the northern part of the state is particularly dry. And without some good rain next year, they could go into a deeper drought condition. Look at the reservoirs. You can see that St. Louis Reservoir is right at average, about 46% of its total capacity. You can see we're at about 98% of our average. So everything's tracking very well. And the rest of the reservoirs within the system are within the reliable ranges that we would anticipate at this particular time of the year. Looking at our flows, as you all know, the weather's been warm, and our customers have been using a considerable amount of water during this peak period, as they usually do during the summer months. You can see we're operating right around 47 to 48 million gallons a day from all the facilities that we have here providing conventional treated water. In addition to that, we're also adding between 10 to 11 million gallons from the geopurification side of the West Side Water Bank, and a little bit from the East Side Water Bank for water quality purposes. As far as water banking goes, the only water banking that we're placing is in the East Side Water Bank, and that's to refill that water bank so that we can use the geopurification to reduce the THMs. As far as one other item I wanted to let you be aware of, and just give you, this is just for information only. We'll bring this item back once it's gone through the committee. But I wanted to let you know that this has to do with the Watermaster replacement water. And as we all know, in 2018, there were parties that overpumped, went above where what their the rights were, or their production rights were. And so they have to pay a replacement water cost to the Watermaster. And so that was done. And then those payments are being proposed to go to the AB state water contractors, who then allocates them amongst the three state water contractors. So the total amount that has been paid is $453,225.65, which equates to about a little over almost 1,100 acre feet coming from the basin. Avek, most of this pumping occurred within the Avek service area, and so consequently the agency will be receiving that amount of money. We'll bring this item to the Watermaster Adjudication Committee for review and recommendation to place on the next board agenda. But I wanted to give you an update on the 2018 Watermaster replacement water costs.
Dwayne, this is Justin. Is this what? Just go back to that. Just that last. Is that just your regular people overpumping that amount, or was it any specific entity overpumped a huge amount, or was it just a combination of a whole bunch of different things?
Yeah, the next slide here gives you an idea. This is the map showing the locations where the overpumping occurred. And while this, maybe you can, Holly, can you increase the size of this portion over here where the chart is? No.
Yeah.
That's right. So you can see you got the AB Joint Union High School, Clan Keith Real Estate Investments, New Goldsmith Investment, Vulcan, S-Power, and Mark Ritter. And these are the total amounts that each of them have paid. And then this is the amount of water that they overpump beyond their production rate.
Okay, thank you, Dwayne.
You bet. So next part of the General Manager's report is to get some of the July activities. And so we completed the first phase of the geotechnical field exploration work for the High Desert Water Bank. We did the initial groundwater modeling, hydrology modeling for the High Desert Water Bank. We've just begun the piezometer well drilling for the same project, and we provided guidance to Avek representative for the Watermaster rules and regulations during July. As far as water reliability, we approved the asset replacement improvement plan, the capital improvement plan for 2020-2021, and made presentations on reduced reliance of the Delta plan, and also discussed the State Water Project Energy Roadmap. There was also a proposal for the East Side Water Bank expansion project was developed for the Bureau of Reclamation Water Drought Response Program, and we did file that application on August 5th, 2020. The ozone system maintenance on the three treatment plants is still underway, and that work continues, as does the Phillips Lab rocket site pump station. As far as water quality, we maintained our internal goal of 64 parts per billion. We conducted our microsynthesis, no, I can't pronounce that, save my soul, testing through the summer. So far, we haven't had any positives, and we've maintained all state and federal standards for water quality. Despite very low water quality, raw water quality coming into the aqueduct, as you can imagine, as that water sits in the canal and moves down the state of California. There's a considerable amount of deterioration of the water quality due to algae growth and aquatic weeds and other factors. And so during the summer period, it's particularly difficult to treat, but we've maintained all the water quality standards through the course of the summer so far. And then under financial integrity, we adopt the grant for a resolution that we talked about previously. We're going to conduct a workshop to adopt the budget for 2021. We approved our tax rates for all three counties, and then we're preparing for the annual audit. As far as human resource and stewardship, we've updated the COVID-19 compliance plan and continue to implement all those protocols. We've had no COVID-19 were reported, received a wellness grant from JPIA for the benefit of the agency employees. As far as communications, we've engaged stakeholders regarding the August customer meetings for the changes in the water service agreements and water rules, service rules and regulations, updated our stakeholder database and media distribution list, and established present on the social media pages. As far as legislative and regulatory updates, the Delta Conveyance Project, it's the single tunnel project, and it's in early stages of planning at the present time. But state water contractors will be doing some analysis to provide some initial cost estimates and some water supply assessments. And the goal is to have all the boards of the state water project approve a agreement in principle, which is kind of like a term sheet by December of this year. In addition to that, the state water contractors released the 2019-2020 annual science report. And what this report does is just tries to highlight the importance of science and providing a more reliable water supply and how it can help to restore and enhance the Delta ecosystem. As far as events and schedules, you can see the NWRA has some virtual conferences in both August and September, and the Watermaster board meeting is August 26th at 10 a.m. My schedule is I plan to be in the office for the next 2 weeks. And that concludes my report. Be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you, Dwayne. Item 13, or 12, excuse me. Director's reports. Are there any directors that have anything to report?
Congratulations to the directors who do not have to run this year.
That's for sure.
Myself. So, congratulations, Gary and Audrey.
Thank you.
Actually, it's Audrey and I'm running. I have to.
Oh, you do?
No.
I didn't see that.
Well, we can talk about this later.
Okay, well,
Item 13, attorney's report.
Yes, this is Tilden Kim. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. Just two items I want to report on. So the first one is at the last meeting that I attended, the board authorized our involvement and participation as a party in the State Water Contractors CEQA challenge to DWR's approval of the State Water Project long-term operation project. And with that directive, we participated in the finalization of a complaint that was filed last week against DWR. Basically, it's the State Water Contractors along with Avek and several other agencies, including Kings County, Palmdale Water District, and Central Coast Water Agency, among others, that DWR violated CEQA by approving a project that was not the subject of the final EIR that was issued. And in our opinion, in the collective opinion, that it gives the DWR and the state of California Department of Fish and Game undue latitude in terms of what can be released under the water supply contracts that state water contractors and other agencies have under the State Water Project. So the complaint was filed late last week, and we will be going through the process of meeting, conferring with the defendants to prepare the administrative record and briefing schedule. And so the horizon for all that happening is probably 6 to 9 months at a minimum. So that's the report on the State Water Contractors versus DWR lawsuit. And then the second item I'd like to report on is the Antelope Valley groundwater adjudication that we've been involved in the appeals process. And we've been working with the drafting committee, with other council who are part of the public overliers. And we've basically concluded our filing of briefs on that groundwater adjudication. As I've mentioned in previous reports, it is the most complex groundwater adjudication that has ever been litigated in California. We believe that based upon the current schedule that briefing will be done in the next 3-4 months, and then oral argument on the various appeals that have been filed would probably happen in fall or winter of 2021, and an opinion would be issued most likely in late 2021 or early 2022. So that's the short synopsis I have of those two cases. And if the board would like a more detailed analysis of the positions taken and our perspective on things, since that is attorney-client privilege communication, we would be more than happy to give that summary in closed session and in future board meetings. And so with that, if there are any other questions, that concludes my report.
Tilden, this is Keith. I'm sorry I missed the specifics of the highly complex groundwater adjudication case that you mentioned. What groundwater basin is that?
I'm sorry, the Antelope Valley groundwater adjudication.
You say that? You consider that the most complex that's occurred?
Oh, yes. I've lost count because we weren't involved in the underlying litigation, but I believe there are like 15,000 filings in that case. The record on appeal is just enormous. I've never seen anything like it, and there have been multiple appeals taken by various parties challenging the physical solution that ultimately was incorporated into the judgment that was very hard fought and negotiated. So there's been a significant amount of appellate work that we have undertaken in coordination with other counsel for filing respondents brief in the various appeals that have been taken in that case.
How do you think it will compare to the eventual adjudication for the Central Valley?
See, that's where I hesitate to give any opinion, since it would be attorney-client privilege. So communication like that, I think, would probably be best served in closed session.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, item number 14, request for future agenda items. Do any of the directors have any requests? Item 15, closed session. Do we have any reason to go into closed session?
We do not.
Okay, then we'll skip to item 17, adjourn to a regular board meeting scheduled for Tuesday, August 25th, 2020 at 6:30. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
This is Rob. I would move we adjourn.
This is Justin. I'll second.
Roll call vote, please.
Gary Van Dam.
Yes.
Audrey Miller.
Yes.
Robert Paris.
Yes.
Justin Lane.
Yes.
Frank Donato.
Yes.
Keith Dias.
Yes.
Kelly Sourceful.
Yes. Okay, meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for your participation.